So, Nate Yarnell was named quarterback #1 after starting Pitt's final 2 games of last season. A lot of high hopes for him now under center. Different role, more confidence. We just heard from him earlier this hour. The offense will look a lot different. As we mentioned, Cade Bell, he was definitely a great addition to this team. He's been hired as the Panthers' new offensive coordinator and QB coach in December. And look at the production returning. 54% of the production from last season, including their leading tackler, Donovan McMillan, who has an icy chain. We're now joined alongside by the head coach of the Pitt Panthers. That'd be Pat Narduzzi. Coach, how much does that chain wear?
You know what? He walked down. I was like, man, I forgot mine at home. My wife bought me one that said the Dews, but he's got the Don on. It's an awesome chain. He came down. I was like, okay, he got the swag, got the tennis shoes on. I couldn't get that look. Neither could you, Pat.
No, listen, not only do I not have it, I don't need it. But
it's all about confidence. If you rock it, act like you've been there before, I think anyone would be able to say, like, you know what? You got
You're going to get Justin one of those?
Well, listen, if that's what he wants. But here's the thing I tell you. The necklace is all fine and good, but you've got the piece of hardware that everybody wants. And
that's nice.
In your press conference, you brought up the fact that 3 teams have a chance to wear one of those rings in the last 10 to 15 years, if you will. Yeah. Clemson, Florida State, and Pittsburgh. And I know you want another one of those.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's important. I think, sometimes we forget. We get a lot of short memories. But in the last 13 years, there's only been 3 teams to put one of these rings on. Yeah. And Pitt has one of those. And not only did we win one, we were there the year before. The other thing that makes that so special is we beat Clemson that year. So it's like we beat Wake in the championship game, but we did beat Clemson in the regular season too. So it was kind of like that's almost like a championship game anytime you can beat Clemson.
It's kind of a validation that, hey, there's no fluke. Yeah. Listen, I don't care what league you're in. When you've got the hardware at the end of the day, you've earned it.
No doubt.
That's just the way it is. And that's the way it should be.
No question about it. So that's what we want to do that and go to a national championship as well. So that's the goal.
Definitely would be helpful if Nate Yarnell is able to take this offense to a new level. Before we ask you about him, because we were able to speak with him this morning, I want to ask you about Cade Bell, because earlier on ACC PM months ago, we asked about this new power offense. For a first-time viewer, for those coming to the game, what can they expect from this offense? What is different about it?
I think it's his creativity. I mean, he's just got a different mind about him. So I think, the first word, if he said, give me one word to describe Cade Bell, I'd say creative. I just think he's got a little different mind to him. He pulls out different stuff, and that's what I'm excited about because we're going to see different stuff. I mean, he's got a different way to attack, every different offense, and our kids love it.
You know what? I'm tired of this offense. This is why you and I get along. I like defense, right? I like search and destroy, line up, man-to-man, let's go. You have always been a defensive guy, and we'll talk about the Pitt offense and what we're going to see. But defensively, what do you want to see in 24 that's got to get better?
Yeah, well, Mark, I'm all about defense.
I know.
That. However, you can have the greatest defense in the world. If you don't score any points, it's demoralizing. And I think that's one of the things that trapped us a year ago is that there was no momentum. I mean, I think our defense would light a fire if the offense scored 14. It's 14-0, our defense is going. And you don't get sacks that way. So, and you don't have as much fun on defense. So, you got to have championship defense. There's no question about it to get there. Winning 54-53 or losing 55-56 is no fun. So, but you have to play complementary offense and defense. I think that's so critical. But I'm excited about our defense. We got some new faces out there. It's not like it's the same old guys. We got two old safeties really in 2 new corners, and Brandon George will be the Mike linebacker in there with Key Thompson is another kid I'm really excited to watch him play. I don't know how you transfer with Kyle Lewis at linebacker. Our D-line is going to be restructured and different dudes up there. It'll be fun to watch. I think we have different animals up front, and that's what I'm excited about.
I want to ask you about one of those new animals. So coming from Kansas State, Nate Matlack, what did you see from him that says, hey, he fits into that true Pitt identity?
It's a super question because, there might have been a lot of people that watched his videotape and said he didn't fit in, but we watched him, they came from a 3-4, so he's a kind of a tall, skinny guy that was playing in a 4 technique, head up on a tackle. And, you're kind of like, you didn't like what you saw. But when that guy got put on the edge, he is, he's got what we need in our defense. And, he's going to be, a guy to reckon with this year in this conference, and I'm excited to watch him. But it was really just watching him fit into what we do. if he had gone to another 3-4 team, he doesn't fit in there. He probably should have been a stand-up outside linebacker, but it seemed like he was playing a little bit out of position, but we've got him in position to make some plays this year.
Pat, you and your staff have really done an incredible job in developing players. And again, I know a lot of folks worry about 3 stars and 4 stars in recruiting rankings. And what I've always admired about what you guys have been able to do is you'll sign somebody that all of a sudden it's like, hey, he's a 3-star. Well, guess what? That doesn't mean he stays a 3-star. At some point in time, you know what? You develop. Guess what? They get drafted in the National Football League. You guys have done as good a job as that as anybody in the country. What's the secret sauce there? I mean, you're just sitting there talking about a certain individual that in your eyes you can see playing in different positions, but your staff has done a great job in that department.
No doubt about it. I mean, I think it starts with our evaluation process. I think a lot of people want to, just kind of rush the process. I mean, we know recruiting has been speeded up, but we're going to go through a process where if Justin is the area recruiter, where are you from?
New York.
So if you're recruiting New York, you got that area. You bring a quarterback back from New York. You now send it to the quarterback coach, who sends it to the offensive coordinator, who sends it to the head coach. So there's a process. We don't change the process just because, we got to hurry up. So it goes through a process, and it ends with me. And I'm going to say, yeah, I like that guy, or I don't like that. And he could have 50 offers. It doesn't matter. If I don't like him, we're not taking him. And I think that's what it comes down to is the process we go through and finding out like what's important. And I think that's the key.
Is that instinctive, or is there certain things that must pass the smell test for you?
Well, there's instinct for sure. I'll go back to Gavin Bartholomew.
Right.
He was a good player, but it was crappy ball out of high school. Okay, it was really maybe get him on the set. But when I met him, you talk about instincts. When I met him on a Zoom call, because he was, one of those COVID recruits, and I saw that big, thick beard, I'm like, we need a man like that guy. So it came down to instincts. I mean, I loved his tape. I was like, but it's like tennis shoe football. It's like not very good football. It's out, I questioned the ball. But when I met him, my instinct says we're taking that guy, and he's going to have a heck of a year.
Yeah.
That is one thing about Cade Bell. He knows how to identify the playmakers. I want to go back to the defensive side of things because you had high praise for Donovan McMillan. You said he'll have a chance. There's name in the draft as well as on Sunday. When did you first have the instinct that he has the it factor and he could join the long line of great defensive backs that have come through Pitt?
That's a question that I've looked at a lot. If you go back to last season, he didn't start in the opener. He didn't start. He's figuring out the defense. You're not sure what he's going to be. Did we make a mistake? Is he coming? Can he play for us? And then you had a couple hiccups during the game. Let's put Donovan in, and then Donovan turned loose. He's a gamer too. Not only but I think just him learning the defense, and when it became I got this. The sky's the limit. And I think he's going to even be better this year. He understands what he's doing. He's playing fast. He fits our defense, and we're happy to bring him back home.
I just bumped into Gary Stoken out there. What happened? You didn't defend the golf championship, the Masters titles coming. Norvell hooks up with Urban Meyer of all people. I mean, what got to be the most bizarre combination to ever win a championship?
Hey, I was on the IR that day.
Is that what it was?
I was on the IR. I played the day before. Didn't have a good day. Had a little elbow or bicep problem that day, but I played hurt. Put it that way.
Got to put some dirt on it.
And I felt bad for my partner, but we'll be back next year.
All right, listen, again, that Masters champ, we did the whole analyzation of the swing and everything else. I was thinking, you're coming in there as the defender.
Yeah. Chan Gailey, I let him down, but we'll be back.
I hope the family's doing well, by the way.
Family is great.
Great.
Thanks
awesome.
for asking.
You got it.
Great to see, as always, Coach. That's Pat Narduzzi from the Pittsburgh Panthers, showing his iced-out chain right there. Coach, just show the bling one more time.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.